Hello, thank you for tuning into my channel. We're starting to plan for 2020, so if you want to see what my goals are for the upcoming year, please stay tuned. Before we go into the goals, I want to highlight a few things one thing I found and one thing that I received, a couple of books that I want to share right quick. When I started quilting, I think I started in 2000. That's when I had my first desire to make a quilt. This was one of the books that I purchased. It's called Basic Guide to Rotary Cut Quilts. It's by Marianne Fonz and Liz Porter. And I looked at the copyright. It's copyrighted in 1999. So for me, it's a pretty old book. It's almost 20 years old, or right now probably 20 years old. And if you go through the book, there are lots of pictures and different things. Um, some things I was able to follow pretty closely, and some things I kind of changed my mind on. Um, but it has a sampler that you can make. The sampler is here on the cover, and then it has a lot of different blocks and good tips and tricks. Um, so I did make one quilt that was in this book. I made the 9 patch quilt. They call it the 9 patch baby quilt, but I ended up making a queen size, not a queen, a twin size quilt. I took the pages. I kind of made notes about what I wanted to do, and I actually still have the quilt. I'm not exactly sure when I finished it. I'm sure it wasn't in 2000. But you can see the 9 patch, and then I put these little blue blocks as the fillers around it. And it does have a little border, and then the backing is this little damask scroll type pattern. And it is one of my favorite quilts that I've made because I just love the colors on it, even though right now it's primarily in storage. But this was one of the books that I first used when I was quilting, and I just wanted to share that. Another book was a gift that I just got from one of my students over the break. The mom just handed me a bag, and I didn't really look in the bag because I was getting ready for a performance and stuff. But then when I got back to my classroom, I looked at the book, and it's called Block a Day 365 Quilting Squares for Patchwork Inspiration. And this one is by Lucinda Ganderton. And I've only briefly glanced in it. I haven't even spent a lot of time looking through it yet. But it does have a lot of different blocks. These are just a few of the samples. And I thought that this was such a very generous gift from my student and his family. So I'm really excited. I'm not sure how I'm going to use this book in the coming year. It could be a nice little stress reliever, kind of just pick a block and make it out of whatever I have. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Um, there are some little tips and tricks and fundamentals at the beginning of the book, and one thing that it says is that each block finishes at 12.5 inches. So if I decided to make a few of the blocks, I could make a quilt out of them, and they should go together fairly easily. So that's really neat. It's definitely a new way for me to have some inspiration for the coming year. So now let's talk a little bit about my goals for the year. I have basically 3 kind of categories, but 2 of them I feel like will go together because if I write a pattern, I can do a quilt along with that pattern. So that's what we're going to start first. I've shown this quilt. I put it together in 2019. Here's the letter, and it's my alphabet quilt sampler. I have started the pattern, and I'm going to go ahead and make it as one of my goals to complete the pattern for this this quilt. And my goal hopefully will be to do a sew along or a quilt along with this. I'm not sure if we're going to do it over the summer or if it may take a little bit longer, but I do have I have all the letters laid out. I just need to coordinate everything and put it together so that it can be a nice reference manual for people who want to incorporate letters or words into their quilts. So for sure, this is going to be my first main goal. I'm going to insert a picture of the whole quilt top right here in the video so that you can see what it looks like. But I'm sure that if you've been watching my channel, especially recently, you've seen this quilt top. It was a very cool thing for me to do, and it's all scraps, so I like that. The other thing that I'm going to be working on a pattern for is something for my string quilts. My string blocks, I am still working on them. I think I have about 40 more, maybe 45 more to make before I can even consider a project with them. But I do have that in mind, and hopefully the project for my strings will be in the works as well, making a pattern for it. So that's it for the patterns that I want to write. As far as quilts that I need to work on, I pulled this one. I've gotten a lot of feedback on this baby Bargello quilt. Here is a little snippet of it. When I was first interested in Bargello, I took a motor scrap bag. Is this the right way? Yeah. And I made a little model Bargello to just kind of practice the technique. Actually, it's upside. Well, no, it's okay. So I did this to kind of practice the technique of making a Bargello, and then, but I never finished it out. So it's really, this is half of it. It's about twice this long. And I'll insert a picture here, and I'll link the video where I made this. I'll link it in the iCards and in the description. But I want to finish it out and make it into a full quilt. Right now it's long and thin, but I want to make it at least a twin, maybe a lap quilt, maybe a twin. So it'll be nice for cuddling under on the sofa. So this will be probably one of the first quilts that I work on. I just want to add the borders all around it. So I'll be going through the process of making the pattern for the borders, choosing the fabrics, all that kind of stuff to finish this out. So this will be one of the first things. Along with my string quilts, I'm going to make my string blocks ongoing because I can do those anytime, and I can take a few minutes out for this, especially considering I have to go shopping for some fabrics. Now there is one other project that is a definite that I have to make this year. My middle son is a senior in high school, and if you follow my channel, you know that means that he gets a graduation quilt, and I have my idea for the graduation quilt, and it is the tumbling blocks. So my idea right now in my brain is to make him a tumbling blocks quilt, and in that vein, I asked my mom for a gift for Christmas, and she got it for me. These are from Missouri Star, and they are the rhombus templates. So at Missouri Star, you can get each template individually, or you can get them all together as a set. And so that's what I have. I went ahead and got the set. This one is for, I think it's for like a 7-inch strip or a 7.5-inch strip. And this is like the large one. The medium is for a 5-inch strip, and it does say 5-inch on here. And then the little one is, they call this one the mini, and it's for a 2.5-inch strip. And I've seen them use these templates on videos, but there are no instructions in the box. It was just the templates. And they do have a paper back on them, so I'll have to take those off when I get ready to start using them. There are a few instructions on the templates themselves, but I'll have to go back and look at the videos. And as I make this quilt, I will bring you along for the process. I think that I want to use them in combination to get the real effect that I want, because it's not just going to be a solid tumbler block. or tumbling blocks. It's going to be some kind, I hope to include some kind of design in the quilt, and I have it in my brain. I just haven't written it down or drawn it out to see what it is. But I do have all 3 templates, so maybe there'll be a way I can incorporate everything into that quilt for my Carter, who is going to graduate in May. For the last graduation quilt I made, I think I started it in February. I was planning it in January. I think I worked on it February, March, and finished it in April. So I'm thinking that if I can plan it in January, same thing, just give myself a few months to put it together, because I have to go all the way through the quilting too. So the only other projects that I have in my brain right now are just some small things. I do need to finish a few tote bags that I started in November, and I didn't quite finish. There are 4 that didn't get finished. I still have a ton of jersey remnant strips that I'm thinking about making either more zipper pouches or maybe trying out some pillows, something like that. I have 12 t-shirts from my school. I would love, love, love to make a t-shirt quilt out of them. Not sure yet how I'm going to work that in, because I just want to keep it as simple as possible for right now. So I think working on that pattern to start the year and making some string blocks will be really awesome. And then to start planning what to do with this baby Bargello, planning out those borders. I think that's a great way to start the year. If there's anything that you would like to see, or that you have questions about, or that you'd love for me to include as I plan for the year, as far as YouTube videos, leave them in the comments. I would love to hear your suggestions and possibly try some of those things out. Thumbs up this video, share it with your friends. Let me know in the comments what your goals are for 2020 as we prepare for this. What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish this year? We can work together on our goals even if they're not exactly the same. I'm going to go ahead and let you go now. Happy New Year. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!